So there's currently this pretty unknown hacker group called the DDoS Squad, and they're planning to take over Blockit. For the past several months, they've been reportedly going into people's games, griefing the living freak out of them, destroying countless combined hours, if not days of work. Some of you probably know about my short explaining the DDoS invasion, where I shared my thoughts on the group, and I believe they were just attempting to earn a lot of Blux, which is Blockit's in-game currency. However, after I posted that video, a series of events unfolded which eventually brought us here. So sit back, relax, and enjoy me explaining everything you need to know about Blockit's most infamous group according to this player. So let me just explain how I met this person. I was working on a city-based game when I was approached by this guy called Decagon0, and the first thing he asked me was if I owned the I'm Tricks YouTube channel. After I said that I did, he immediately began to tell me all these things about DDoS that I didn't know, half of it I wasn't even listening to. I guess it was because I just wasn't in the mood to be talking to someone at the moment, so I just told him to friend me, we planned an interview, and he logged off. And then, about 20 minutes later, another player called DDoS Kid XD joined the game. I already knew a decent amount of information about DDoS, and I was really paranoid that they'd grief my game, so I hubbed the player. But when they joined again, I banned them. Now this may sound random, but this is actually pretty important. About 10 minutes later, I found Decagons in a lab roleplay game, and I told him I was ready for the interview. So we joined one of his worlds, he gave me perms, I built a small table with chairs, and after we sat down, we began the interview. My friend Trevito was also there, because I guess he just wanted to be a part of it. Anyways, Decagons started off the interview by explaining to me the history of the DDoS Squad. He told me that DDoS was originally called Team Neo, and they raided Blockit from July 16th to 17th. Also, I couldn't tell what Decagons was trying to say here, but I'm assuming that Astral Chaos was a game that was griefed by the squad. On July 30th, Team Neo was officially renamed to DDoS, and their first and most infamous raid occurred. DDoS would continue griefing games until everything suddenly stopped on August 9th.
But we aren't done yet.
He then told me that DDoS continued to raid games, and also that, before the 9th of August, the infamous Gritty Squad was formed, and also started getting into griefing. I also asked him about his group called Symbolfinity, and he just said that he made it because DDoS needed it. I don't know what that was supposed to mean, but anyways. He said even though he was a member of DDoS, he doesn't like how they grief people's hard work. Another thing that Decagons told me was that DDoS mainly targets free build and free paint games because they want them to be less relevant. He also mentioned, I'm pretty sure, a group called RAFB. If anyone has any info on that, please let me know in the comments. He also said that DDoS helped a player named Gadget, who I actually don't know about, create a bypass for gambling. I then decided to mention DDoS Kid from earlier to him, but he surprised me by telling me that that player was actually the DDoS leader. After he told me this, I then asked him the question that would reveal what a lot of players in the Blockit community wanted to know. What are DDoS's intentions, and why are they griefing games? Also, by the way, after the interview, I learned that DDoS is just trying to revamp the entirety of Blockit in an attempt to make it more fun and less strict. But in order to do this, they need the front page to be cleared, so they grief games. However, I don't know how much we should believe this, and if it's true, then there's gotta be a better way to make people private their games. Anyways, Decagons would also reveal a lot of other things to me. Some of these things were revealing that DDoS was behind the griefing of Timmy Office because they hated it, and that the recognizable colorful pattern often used in free paint botting incidents are also controlled by DDoS. Decagons would also tell me that DDoS often uses VPNs and alts, which is why the Blockit mods have difficulty banning them. I then asked Decagons if he's a hacker himself, to which he replied that he used to be but isn't anymore. The next question I asked him was if there are any players or groups that are trying to go against them. He said that the people behind something called Screenshare are after them, and also the RAFB, so I guess they did something to the last one. After a bit more questions, Decagons then said that DDoS would fix griefed games after they improve Blockit, which, like the claim that they are going to revamp Blockit, I find hard to believe. Close to the end of the interview, Decagons would also mention that DDoS was planning to add their own currency and crates to the game. So in conclusion, from what I've been seeing at this interview, DDoS is just attempting to try and make Blockit a more entertaining experience for its community. So, does this interview prove that the DDoS Squad is full of all-powerful hackers that are capable of completely revamping an entire game that doesn't belong to them? Does this prove that this is actually what they're trying to do? No, it doesn't. I mean, this is coming from a member of their group, so I have no idea if they're being truthful or not. But this might provide clues on what DDoS is trying to do, and answers some questions that lots of people are wondering. DDoS could be griefing for any reason. If anything, they might be just doing it for attention. But again, we don't exactly know what they're trying to do, but I'll try and keep you guys updated on what they're doing. As of today, their most recent major thing they've done on Blockit was make a game that I think was supposed to be a funeral for someone. I tried to talk to the leader who was there, but he was busy and I didn't want to annoy a hacker, so I just left. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Cheers.